Sausage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Mark Kushnez, tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. This episode is all about Lego Batman, a game where you play as Batman and friends, and it's Lego themed, and you break bricks and you smash minifigs, and you do whatever a Batman does, and it's a Lego game. End of episode with Batman characters. End of episode. No. So, in my great Arkham replay playthrough that I have been doing in preparation of getting to Arkham Knight, a game I've been wanting to play forever, but I wanted to replay the other games first and then play some of them for the first time to my discovery. I said, I want to take a break from everything before Arkham Knight. What better game to take a break from Batman Arkham games with than a different flavor of Batman? And so I settled on Lego Batman in part because of the LOLs. I I feel stupid saying the lulls even as a joke, but yeah, I did it for the lulls. And I learned I think I'm just not a Lego fan anymore. I don't buy Lego sets anymore either, but I think I've grown out of the Lego game love I once had. This is the first Lego game I've played in, my guess is over 5 years. I can't remember when I played Lego City Undercover, but if you go back into the YouTube archives and watch/find that episode of Attack the Backlog, that is the last time I played a Lego game. Well, a traditional style Lego game. I did play some of the more recent adventure-y, puzzly ones. I think it's Brick Tales and then a little of Hero's Journey, Lego A Hero's Journey. But I haven't played a traditional Lego game, Traveler's Tale Lego game, since Lego City Undercover. And then before that, I think it may have been the first Avengers game. And I enjoyed the Avengers game, but I didn't enjoy Lego City Undercover because I was excited about the prospect of them taking their Lego formula and putting it into original world full of original writing and jokes and all of that. But instead, they still relied heavily on referential humor, which I can accept in the license games. But when they have the chance to be wholly original, it was a little disappointing for me. I think I remember very early on there was a Shawshank Redemption reference, and I thought to myself, this is weird. But Lego Batman is one of the earliest Lego games. It predates the voice acting days, which makes it pretty early. I think actually they introduced voice acting in Lego Batman 2, which is also where they started dabbling with open world structures. This is a very traditional classic Lego game of no voice acting, so all of the cutscenes and stories delivered through physical humor and just a general sense of physicality, which I like. I thought it was really fun in those early days, and I still like it today. It's probably my favorite thing about this game is how they had to utilize the physical comedy to express their story and just the physical nature of everything in general because there was no voice acting and they didn't do subtitles or captions. It was just pure visual storytelling. And I thought they had fun with it and did some creative things with it. And I still like that today. I think it is charming. I think it gives those early games a unique charm that they lost when they started voice acting. But it is a very traditional level based Lego game. where you're going from level to level. You have a basic objective, but you're just going through the level. You get to points where you need to break some random object in order to build something so that you can continue forward, whether that's a switch or a platform or something that allows you to continue progressing. And every now and again, there'll be something you can't do unless you change into a different suit, and there'll be something there that allows you to change into a different suit. And in addition to all that, there are plenty of things you can't do in the actual campaign and will have to return in free play mode because you won't have the characters that are capable of doing this or that in the regular campaign. And I find a lot of its designs, very frustrating as an adult gamer. I was an adult when I was playing them back in the day, but still, as an older gamer, an old crotchety gamer, I find a lot of its designs frustrating now. The requirement of having a certain character or a certain kind of character, certain class of character, only able to interact with this object or that object, it's not inherently bad, but when you can't just draw upon them at any time during the campaign, it gets annoying because I inherently want to go after everything. I'm a completionist type of person. So my initial desire tendency with Lego games is to break everything. If I see something and it's clearly destroyable, I want to destroy it. I want to smash it all up. I want to collect my little bricks that make up my bar to give me 100% for a level, which doesn't really matter because I can't remember when they changed this. I think they eventually took it out. But they had the little code input section, and you just find the codes online for all the brick multipliers that stack. You input them all, and then you pick up 3 little tiny bricks at the beginning of a level, and you've achieved superhero or supervillain, and you're like, "Okay, alright. Well, that part of completing a level 100% doesn't really fucking matter anymore." And you quickly will gain over 1,000,000,000 bricks that you can't spend on anything, so the whole brick economy is broken in all these early Lego games or whatever, doesn't really matter. But my initial tendency with these games is to wanna try and do everything. But when I quickly realize I can't do that during the campaign, I start playing it in a different way that is against my nature, and it's not as fun when I'm transitioning to, "Okay, I wanna go after everything," to, "I should just power through these levels as fast as possible because I'm gonna have to come back here and free play anyway if I wanna 100% these levels, so why am I bothering?" And then I just kind of end up going with emotions through the campaign, and it is really disheartening. I think the structure of the campaign is incredibly weird as well. I don't know if it maybe continues it in a more natural way if you never ever go to the Batcave. But once you go to the Batcave, it kinda just either changes it or it was always this way, which is you have 3 episodes per side. So you have the heroes and the villain side because you can play as the villains as well. But you have 3 episodes per side. 3 episodes on the hero side, which correspond to 3 different villains: Joker, Penguin, and not Riddler, not Mr. Freeze. Penguin, Joker, and I don't remember who. Was it? It's not Mr. Freeze. Maybe it was Mr. Freeze. No, because Penguin is the icy one. Doesn't matter. But and it's not Riddler. But you have those, and then on the villain side, you have the 3 as well. And the way it's structured is that Each episode consists of 5 levels, and after completing each episode, you get a little button that says "Finish story." So when you are completing a level, it'll say, "Go back to Batcave," or "Continue to the next level." Continue story, basically. And after you do all that and you reach the final level, it'll just say "Finish story." And you get a little brief cutscene and then credits after every fucking episode. So credits roll in this game 6 different times, and it's very weird. When I first saw them, I was like, "Damn, this game is way shorter than I thought it was." And then I realized, no, there's more. There are other episodes. And I first thought, okay, it was just I got the credits roll after completing, quote unquote, completing the hero stuff. So I'm gonna go to the villain side. I'm gonna do one of those. The only one that was unlocked was it wasn't Penguin or who was the third one? Doesn't matter. But I played through that villain storyline, completed it, credits rolled. I couldn't access the other ones, and I then thought to myself, oh, maybe the other hero ones that corresponded to the other villains weren't finished yet. So let me go back there and do those, and then that'll unlock the villain arcs, the villain storylines. And that's how it works, which just seems a little odd. One of the cooler things in the game that I didn't really mess with is that there is a hero creator. So you can mix and match a bunch of minifig pieces and create heroes for both the player 1 and player 2, which I'm assuming that you can use in free play mode. But it just wasn't a whole hell of a lot of fun. I find the act of getting stuck in an area frustrating when you have to just if you stop doing what I originally want to do and don't break everything, you get to points in levels multiple times where you need to break something in order to continue progressing, like I said earlier in the episode. So you'll need a switch, but you'll need to break some pieces in order to build that switch. But there's nothing about any of the objects in the world that clearly differentiate whether or not something will, once destroyed, be able to be put together into a different object. You just have to destroy willy nilly, and eventually you'll destroy the right objects that will reveal the pieces you need. And another thing that makes it annoying or makes it harder to differentiate is that the pieces you need will be of a certain color. It doesn't mean they're going to be of the color of the object you break. When you break an object, they'll just turn into whatever color of the thing you need to build. It doesn't really make any fucking sense. And that's frustrating. The number of times I got stuck trying to figure out what to do next is kind of crazy when you look at these games and think of them and remember them being kid games. That's how we all think of them. At least I think a lot of us think of them as at least kid friendly games. Games that if you are an adult and have kids, were really good for playing with a kid. But I can't imagine playing this with a kid because there are instances where you both have to do something at the same time or work together, have one person do one thing. There are times where you have to press a button on a top level so that it'll open up a path on a lower level and keep going back and forth between the characters. Because if you're playing by yourself, you can switch between the two characters. There are always two characters in a level. And if you're playing by yourself, you can switch between the two on the fly. But playing that with the kid sounds like it would be incredibly frustrating. It it may just be me, or these games have just not aged particularly well. But I did not have a good time with Lego Batman. I did it as a joke, as a lark, and then the joke was on Mark. Har har har. I'm still curious about Lego Batman 2 because it introduces voice acting. Again, 99.9% sure, and is open worldy, but this is definitely put the taste in my mouth that maybe I just don't like Lego games anymore. So I'm hesitant to play another Lego game anytime soon, but I really hope that I'm not some old curmudgeon, ornery little grumpy bastard who can't find the joy in the simplicity of Lego games anymore. I hope it's just that Lego Batman was actually one of the weaker Lego games in the grand scheme of things. Because even thematically, I don't know what I'm getting out of it. There are these vehicular levels too that are nice because they're on the shorter side, and I really, really, really don't have to think about what I'm doing. I'm just holding the fire button and just fucking flying around, and I don't care at all. But I don't know how much it works, the Lego theme with or the Batman theme with Lego. The soundtrack is good. There's a lot of pulls from the Burton movies. I'm not sure if there were any other Lego soundtracks. I don't know. There may have been some original music. I just clearly have a memory of the ones from Burton's Batman because that's what I grew up with, and I those are the soundtracks I remember the most, the scores I remember the most. But yeah, Lego Batman wasn't for me. Boss fights sometimes very unclear as to how you're supposed to get through them, and they don't always. It seems like you found the strategy, but the strategy is finicky in how it works. There's a thing where I have to chase Harley Quinn around, and I was chasing her, but then I'd get stuck on a piece of the geometry or something else would happen, and she would stop running because I wasn't close enough anymore. And I was doing this over and over again. I was like, "What the fuck? What do I do here?" And it was to just continue chasing her. I just had to make sure that no one got stuck so that we wouldn't stop and then reset everything. It's just a very frustrating game. It's incredible how, again, these games are seemingly family friendly, kid friendly, and yet I, an adult, an almost 40-year-old adult, got stuck as many times as I did. I had to use a guide a handful of times, and that's embarrassing. So, really, I just don't like the game because it made me feel like an idiot. But yeah, it was a choice to play that as a break from other Batman games, but here we are. So that's enough about Lego Batman. And that's enough of this episode. So that'll do it for this here episode of Attack the Backlog. Once again, I am Mark Kuznez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/PXS. There you can get access to a monthly Q&A, the occasional watch party, a private Discord channel, along with some fancy Discord roles, and the random drop on the Patreon here or there, depending on your tier. Or you could just support me to support me if that is your fancy. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, the Twitch, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. That is the letter P, the letter X, sausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. But for now, adios, arrivederci.
It's go time. Go daddy. It's go time.